Hi, today I'm going to show you how to put together the At the Ballpark box card from Simply Crafty SVGs. So first I like to piece my items, so we just get right into this. So this is the little mound for the pitcher mound. Putting the white background on it. You can see it. That'll go in the middle on the card. So I'm going to put it in a little area so I don't lose it. I use those a lot for small pieces. And then we'll put the white background on the baseball field. And I use a little fine tip applicator with, that one has Scotch quick dry tacky glue in it. I'm trying some new glues out, but that's the one I'm using in this video for now, and the one I have been using for a while. So that's ready to go, so we can put aside. And then it is not your imagination, but I'm going to glue these two pieces for the ball, but I did it like it was an angled ball, so the sides are not the same length. Because you see, as a ball is being thrown, sometimes the stitches are not in the same place, kind of like a angled look. So you go ahead and put it on like you see, matching those edges up to the circular edges of the ball portion, and the same on the other side, similar to this. Just gives it a different look. There's not much you can do with the ball cut out, but just trying to make it a little different. If you wanted them even, you could cut two of the same and do that. I'm sure it'd work. So now we're going to piece together the two overlapping bats. You could use like a instead of a black background, you could use a brown. That might work better. Kind of like the black because it kind of highlights the edges. But as I put it on, I want to make sure that it's on there exactly the way it should be. So I usually put my fingers around the edges before I really apply pressure. See there, this one I didn't get on very well, but you can adjust it as long as you don't apply too much pressure before the glue dries. And then I had already stamped this with Happy Father's Day and put some embellishments on it. This is the home plate that will go on the front with the ball. Now you could use the background, you don't have to. So now we're going to put together the card. We're going to fold it on the score lines. And with those flaps, you want to score it on the natural, fold on the natural score, and then fold back, because it's going to be a flap that folds outward. So now we'll add these side panels before we assemble the card. The way it goes on is that it aligns to the bottom edge, and there's an equal space around the other areas. So the right, left, and top have an equal space, and then it aligns to the bottom of the box. I'll give you a closer look. I also am going to add the front panels first before I assemble the card. And with the side panels, those will be aligned to the bottom. It's just a different look than having an edge around all sides. I was having some fun playing around with this, getting a different look. So just running my finger along the edge to make sure that that panel is aligned to the bottom edge. Then I had embossed this with a little star, a Dare Reese embossing folder. I'll have the link below. And again, that will be aligned to the bottom, and it's centered on right and left, so you have the distance for that red is showing equally. So now we're going to flip it over so we can put the little flaps. The same thing. I wanted the white to show around the little edge, the rounded edge. So we're going to add glue to that and align that bottom edge that you see with the fold. So there's no white above at the top, but it's around the edge. Of course, you can size this or do whatever you want, but that's the way that I put together this card. So now that we have the panels on, we'll start assembling the card. So we want to take that back piece of the card, and we're going to add glue to this right tab here, and then align the edge of one side of the back piece of the card to the tab fold. And if you want, you can have if you have a textured paper, you could have it facing the back, as we'll be covering the inside. It's really your choice. And then it's easy to fold it over like this. It's always easier to glue something flat. Get some extra glue pieces off there. And go ahead and add glue to the other tab, and then line up the other edge to the tab fold, making sure the bottom is aligned as well. I had to adjust it a little bit here, then apply pressure to make sure that it holds. And that's the basic card structure. So now we're going to talk about the inside back portion. So that's just going to go in there, just showing you how it goes, and somewhere around there. So first we'll add the field to this area. So you might want to dry fit it, find out where you want to put it, so you can see what it'll look like. Just showing you what it will look like before you put it together. I don't like putting a lot of cut lines to tell you exactly where you should put things, because you might want to change the card. So then we'll go ahead and glue that field onto that smaller green piece. About so. We just want a little bit of the green outfield showing. Then I'm going to glue this on inside. You could do this after you get the field on, but I'm just going to do this first. It's easy to slide it in. It'll fit, should fit perfectly. So you can kind of align it, the edges, before you apply pressure. One thing I forgot to put is the pitcher's mound, but I'll put it at the end. So I would suggest putting this a little bit higher than I did, but sometimes when you're gluing, you just don't pay attention. So I went down, so you might want to pull it up just a little bit so you can see more of the field when the card is done. But I thought it looked okay this way too. Got a little glue on the front, but I will be putting something there, so it'll be hiding it. So there you go. You can see the field without the pitcher's mound, unfortunately. We have it ready to go. So I like to put I would suggest putting the elements on that insert before you put the insert in the card. So this is how it goes. There's a larger circle and star in the middle portion, and then two smaller circles on the right and left with smaller stars. They're just slightly smaller, so you'll just have to get the stars out and look at them. So go ahead and align it in there, kind of almost to the top edges of where the bats will be. Don't go over that. We'll try not to. It won't be a big deal. It'll still look good. And then match these up in the areas. And then we'll put the we won't put the stars on yet. We're going to put the bat on first, because it will overlap those circles. I'm a fan of layering. I'm assuming some people that buy some of my products like that as well. But I think it just looks fun on designs. So make sure that the bats align into the area, and if it doesn't, like you can see right here, I had a chalk inks that I kind of go around the edges so I can hide that white. Just depends on what you use for the background. I mean, you could have used brown for the middle insert if you selected. But just carefully get the ink in places where I can see the white. There are smaller chalk inks out there too that you can utilize. I just happen to have this one and from Quick Quotes, and I'm just trying to use it until I'm done. The responsible thing to do. So we'll put the stars, just glue the stars on, and you can put it at any angle that you want. So you can put, I'm going to angle them a little bit inwards on the sides and then straight on the middle one. And that's all ready to go. So this is always the tricky part for those that know how to do box cards. It's not as bad as it seems. But go ahead and add glue to one of the tabs. What we'll want to do is when we insert it in the box carefully, you want to go towards the back, and we want that back tab edge, that long edge, we want it to meet up with the back of the card. So you kind of push until it's aligned, and this is going to help so it doesn't bow or bend or anything when you flatten the card. You could have put glue on the other side too, but I tend not to do that because I want to get that first one placed correctly. And then carefully, and you can do it from both sides. I'm using my fine tip applicator, but go ahead and add glue to that second tab. Then carefully slide it to the back of the card. And again, align that tab edge to the back of the card to make sure it's flush with it. And before it's dry, fully dry, you can always flatten the card. I like to flatten it really quick so it'll almost self-adjust itself. Because you know we want the card to flatten anyway, so this is going to make sure it flattens okay. And then I usually go both ways just to make sure. And it gets a little bit more of a hold on those tab edges. So that's it. So all we have to do really is to add a few more things. So this is what we included for the sides. You could just use the circle, you could just use the star, or anything you want. If you have a baseball logo, you could put that on the sides too. That would be cute. So here I decided to do a little offset star. Don't go too far down with this. The reason is that will, when you close the card, it'll make it longer or taller, and you won't be able to get it into a standard A7 envelope. So I kind of went as far as I could. But try to stay as close to the edge of the circle as possible. If you know how to make your own envelopes, I guess it's not an issue. But I didn't include an envelope. If I did, it would have been a 5x7. We have that for free on our website. There's a free set of basic envelopes sizes, including A7. So if you wanted to center the stars, not use the stars, or again, I think this would be a cute place to put like a mascot or logo. If you were doing this for a personalized card for somebody that's on a team or something like that. So once those are done, we're going to add them, but first let's get this pitcher's mound placed. I would have done that earlier, I just forgot to. I had it in a safe place and I didn't see it. But easy to add. And then we'll attach these little circular stars to the side panels. I'm using double sticky foam tape for dimension to pop them up a little bit. Then we'll add the ball and the home plate that we had already stamped onto the front. There's also an optional back panel. I'm just not showing it to you. if you want to write on it or print something out, something special for the recipient of the card. But you could put anything on this. It could be for a birthday, Father's Day, congratulations. You see it full flattened. You just fold up the sides, the flaps, and then flatten to put it in a card. And then it just opens beautifully. I had fun making this project, and I hope you enjoyed it too. Thank you for watching.